welcome to the program. A legendary artist, been in the business for over 30 years, Mr.
Wow.
Ken Lashley.
Hey, what's up? How are you? How are you? What's going on? Geek Hard. I like
Pretty
that
good,
name.
pretty good.
I like that name,
Thank
Geek
you.
Hard.
Thank you very
That's pretty
much.
good. I like that.
Nobody geeks harder than us. That's the way we do it. But
Okay, that's
yeah,
good. We'll find
that
out.
is
We're
good.
gonna find out. We're gonna find out in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, we're talking with you today because Toronto Comicon coming up this weekend,
Yeah. Yep.
March 20th to 22nd, Friday to Sunday at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. And of course,
Yep.
living in Toronto, you've been a big part of the Toronto
Yep.
convention scene for a long time, been to a lot of Toronto Comic Cons, a lot of fan expos, and then, of course, a lot of
Yep.
conventions all over the place, not just here in Toronto. For
Yeah.
you, what is the
Mhm.
best part about getting out to the convention?
I know this. I know it's kind of a cliche. You always say this. A lot of guys say the same things. It's meeting the fans and all that stuff. But it truly is. I have like a community of people, that follow me in my Facebook group, and we talk about all kinds of things, and it's more of a you like my work, sure, but it's collections of people and what you like, and I ask a lot of questions in there and do a couple live streams in there. Not so much lately, but I do a lot of different things. But it's like meeting the community, so that we call them the Killers because my pen name is Led Killer. So my mom hates the name. She thought it's terrible because you're killing your name, so she hated it. But it's pretty fun. But I mean, that's what it's really about. People come by, we talk about things that we talked about, things that we like, things we don't like. I mean, again, it's kind of fun because it's not just straight. Let's just do this and draw, and people just come by, buy the stuff. And, it's like it's really a community. So I love it, though. I mean, that's probably the best part of it, and also going to different cities, and checking out the local scenes, and meeting new people. Because every time you go to a new city, you're meeting killers you've never met before, right? Like, so there's people in different parts of the world. So I mean, when I went to Dubai, that was sorry, Abu Dhabi, that was amazing. I was supposed to go to Dubai at next week, but I guess I won't be going. But it was like there's a whole these different things, getting to meet these people from all over the world. So it's pretty awesome. That's probably the best part.
Yeah. So like with the, as Andrew mentioned, you've got a 30 plus year career and, and
Yeah,
it's you going to conventions and,
sure.
at the old, when you first got into the industry compared to say today, and like you already touched a little bit
Mm,
because of the Facebook group and things like
yeah.
that. What, you know, other than say maybe the Facebook aspect of it, what do you think is the biggest change in the comics industry between creator
Man.
and fan?
Mm. Well, I mean, it's okay. Well, that's a deep discussion, because it used to be when I first got into business. It's a very deep discussion because when I first got into business, it was I got in a tail, in the 90s. 93 was my first book, so 93, 94, and that was a tail end of the old school guys. Like, so they were, the Kurt Swans of the world was still around, and I met him. He gave me my greatest compliment of all time was with Kurt Swan and some other these older guys, and they taught me how to interact with fans. Free autographs, free sketches, all that stuff. Like that's was when I got into business. That's what it was. So if you were charging for your autograph or you were charging for sketches, you were like, well, what are you doing? Right? This is about a love letter, to the fans. And I held on to that probably until maybe 10 years ago, where I was just, free sketches, free this. I did as much as I could. And then it became obvious that everyone is, it's a bit of a commerce thing. So I have to be mindful of that. And even now I struggle with that because, that wasn't how it started. So I'm doing a lot of, pick your own level, pick your own this, pick your own that. It's my wife goes, I'm the only one still doing that, still saying, oh, you come to me and you meet me at a convention and you want to say you want a drawing done. I let you pick your own poison. You pick the level you want to be at. But that's not the way it used to be. It used to be like that all over the place. But now it's, there's a lot of groups with people, value for this guy and what this guy is worth and what this guy is this, and it's much more commerce than it was back in the day when it was more like, I love this book, I want to get it signed. Now it's like, it, you know, what do you charge as opposed to, are you going to be there? What I mean? And I think that's kind of a little bit sad, but that's the nature of the business. It's really become a little bit more commerce than it used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's the unfortunate thing. But at least, still you get to
Hmm.
connect with the fans in a way that like
Sure.
That's the one thing about comics is great is that there is a direct connection between the fans and creators that probably
Mhm.
no other medium really gets to experience in the same way.
Yeah.
And you get to draw these sketches for people, and people come up to you and ask you to draw a bunch of different things.
Mhm.
I heard you once drew a commission of Pam Grier as Galactus.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was, I mean, I like those kinds of ones. I shouldn't say that. I should not say I love those kinds of ones because what happens is people say, "Oh, I heard in an interview that you said you like the weird ones." No, that's not true. I mean, I do. To me, to each is their own, right? Like, I mean, whatever floats your boat. Like, what? Okay, sure. What? I had to ask him twice. I said, "What did you say? Pam Grier is what?" Oh, Pam Grier from what? I mean, the actress? I said, okay, all right. Don't ask any questions. But I mean, I remember I was in a show and a guy came up to me and he said, "Oh, my favorite movie is Friday." And I looked at this dude and I go, "He's like a redheaded ginger guy with freckles." And I'm like, "Friday, like Friday, like the movie, like Friday." He goes, "Yeah, it's my favorite movie of all time, Friday. I have a whole sketchbook full of sketches from that movie. Could you draw one of the characters?" And I was like, that is the last thing I would expect from you, my friend. But to each their own, and I love those kinds of things. That's what I love about fandom. The fandom is it's so wide. Like you never know. I think one of my greatest things of all time was I was the Marvel Day at Sea and I got invited to the Marvel. I was the Marvel guest on a cruise ship. And it was right around the time of Black Panther coming out. And so on the ship, Black Panther was only in the theaters, but on the ship it ran in there was like 10 theaters on the ship, and it ran all day. Like all the Marvel movies were running all day long, but Black Panther was still in the theater, so you could see it for free. It was just running all day. So I think I saw it like 10 times, you just go to see it and see different parts of it. And it was amazing to see, people who you would typically not think Black Panther was for them, you know, and they had the little kids with 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds with the little Wakanda Forever running around the ship, acting like that. It was an amazing experience, and I think that was because superhero. I mean, okay, how do I say this in a polite way where it doesn't sound crazy? There are certain characters for different demographics, and Black Panther was always for my people of color, that kind of thing. And when Black Panther came out, it changed all of that for a while. It really changed. It'd be like, this is just a cool character. We'll leave it at that. And I think that was important, and I think it's powerful, and I think that's one of the things that comics does in general. It's sort of like doesn't matter how you get here as long as you're welcome, right? And I think that's one of the things I think that is super powerful about even my own career, like um drawing superhero comics. It's predominantly they don't look like me, but I chose that as my vocation. Here I am, right? And I think sometimes you get asked to do certain things and you're down a path because of this and that, but I think it all kind of levels off. And I think that's the best part of comic books in general. Is just I don't know how you became a fan of X-Men, but I'm glad you're here. And that's kind of how I always looked at it. I don't know. It's kind of a strange thing. I really enjoy what I do for a living and get a chance to and there's so many times you go to a place and you're having a dinner party and all these corporate people sitting around you, and then somebody asks me what I do for a living and I go, I draw comic books, and it's like everyone's like, what? And it's just like, 45 minutes of them asking me a bunch of questions, my name is in Wakanda Forever. What? That's crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean? It's such a an amazing, such amazing business to be a part of, but it touches so many different people's lives, you can tell
Totally.
people just love this stuff.
It's interesting as you were talking there. I was noticing
Mhm.
how you continue to be super pumped and excited about the industry, and
Mhm.
being in it like you have been. You've seen the ebbs and the flows. You've seen like the
Mhm.
collector boom come and go. We've
Mhm.
seen all kinds of the like the number one booms, the everything. Just the
Yeah.
craziness that's gone on. All the
Multi
way up.
versions, the
Yes.
inflated numbers, people buying lots of comic books because they think they're gonna be worth something someday. Everyone
Oh yeah.
buying the Death of Superman. I go, hey buddy, there's like 17,000 million copies. There's a million copies out there. You and four other friends have, a 25-cent bin. It's in the 25 cent bin over here, but that's, oh, mine's in a bag. Good for you. Be like, it's like, like it's one of those things. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Even
but
my brother-in-law bought one of those, and I go, bro, come on.
Yeah,
yeah,
I get it.
but that's the thing. It's like you don't
Mm.
seem as jaded as some others that are
Should I be
your
jaded?
appointed. No, I'm just
Uh,
saying, right? Like, because
yeah,
some you talk to some creators, and maybe it's just the day of the week that I've spoken to them or
yeah.
seen an interview with them, and you get them the wrong way. But
It
you
could
see,
also because it's you. You never
this
know.
is
It could be.
true. This is true. I
I'm not gonna
can
say
come off.
anything.
You
I don't know
guys,
you, James. I don't know you,
no,
James, but no, I mean
you know,
I mean, I look at it from another perspective. I mean, maybe I'm a different kind of person. I'm extremely positive in the things that I do work on, and just in my outlook in life. I coach football too, and I'm very positive about it. So it's like it's one of those things. I coach at a high school level and a club team level, and to be honest with you, I think it's being positive is there's no harm in being positive, right? And I always think that it's you know if you had told me, I was talking, it's so weird. Like last night, I was talking to my wife about it, and I said, well, if you would have told me when I was 10 years old when I was 58 years old that I would be drawing comics for Marvel and I would have an X-Men cover, a Star Wars cover, you know, a absolute Batman cover, and all these things on my table as we speak, would I sign up for that? And I said, yeah, I would. Right. So why would what would I be miserable about? I take care of my family. I'm extremely well paid for what I do. My original self for thousands. Like what am I complaining about here? Like really. I mean, sure, there's always, I'm not this person or I'm not this person or my career's not as big as this person or blah 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 blah. But I think I'm well down the road. You know what I mean? And I think that I've done extremely well from what is expected of a kid from Mississauga. Do you know what I mean? And I think I would never complain about where I'm at in my life. And even, you pay your taxes and you go, oh, I made that much last year. Holy cow. Like, you don't think about those things that and if I'd have said, like my wife, I said, if I had told you this is how much I'm gonna make at this age, at this point in my career, and what would you say? And she's like, yeah, because you don't think about those things. You think about, just taking care of yourself. And then, when you do well for yourself and it's something that you care about, you really shouldn't be complaining. And even when you go to these shows, I've done panels with people who are complaining about things, and all I'm thinking about, the most miserable people I've met in this business are some of the most successful. And I think that's very interesting because most people would kill to be them. They would kill to be able to say that you created this character and you're being flown around the world because you draw this character. Like I'm not gonna be miserable about it. Sure, is it perfect? Nothing's perfect, but I'm not gonna complain about it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, you've been doing it for over 30 years, so of course,
Mhm.
you know, that's a sign that you still love it, of course. But you
Well,
started,
I mean,
back.
job. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a
It
job,
is a
and
job, of course. No,
there are
well,
times where I go, oh, but if you said to you, if I said to you, your name is on Wakanda Forever, you got a chance to draw a G-Force cartoon and redesign that. You got a chance to work on X-Men. You got a chance to like all of these things that you loved as a kid. All those things you got a chance to work on. Um, what am I miserable
of
about? Like
course,
what
no, totally.
like give me a
no,
break. And
Y-
sometimes I hear them and sometimes I let them finish and I've been on panels with guys and they finish and I kind of go, wait a you're up on a panel talking about how bad it is. Like I'd be like what are you doing here? Like I'd be like, come on, man. Come
No,
on.
totally. And so
Ridiculous.
your career started in 93 with the first
Yeah.
Marvel work. Before that,
Mhm.
of course, your portfolio was Mark Asquith, a good friend of the show, who took
Yeah.
your portfolio to New York. Now, how did that happen? Did he meet you at like a show and just see your work and be like, I wanna
Yeah.
take your portfolio to New York?
Yeah, I met him. I went to a show. I was Yeah, just like that. I mean, that's what happened, So it's Mark's fault. Whatever happens, Mark's fault. So it was like yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. That's what I mean. Like, listen to that story. Somebody you met at a comic convention said, "I'm gonna take your stuff to New York and show it to Marvel." What? You know what I mean? And then off I go, and then I'm working at Marvel, and I got a job from that. Like that. That's the craziest thing. He showed the work. They had no idea if I could make a deadline or not, and they offered me a job called Excalibur. Did I mean? And it's like, do you want to do a book with 15 characters in it? Like that goes from 0 to 100. Like not even a little bit of like, hey, we got a short story for you to work on. See if you can make a deadline. She's like, nah, man, you're good. Let's go. And I was like, okay. And I started to work, and I've been working ever since. So I mean, and when you look at the number, I've been working for 34 years. Like that's crazy. You know what I mean? And it's just an amazing thing to be able to work and working at DC and getting to work on Batman, and currently now I'm doing some absolute covers. You didn't hear that from me. And then, but it's like, it's fun. I mean, like even this morning, I just got an email, like, maybe 20 minutes before getting on here, hey, Ken, you want to do this crazy thing? And I was like, yeah, these are silly questions. These are silly questions. Like, like, why are you asking me, hey, do you want to draw this thing? I was like, oh, that's just dumb. I even said, my response was, hell yeah, why are you asking me dumb questions for? I mean, like, these are dumb questions, right? So, and I think that's the beauty of it all. I mean, I think it's really sad when people are jaded about something that you love so much. I mean, I love going to shows. I mean, it was really sad not to go to Dubai. I mean, we had we're business flights to Dubai with my wife. Come on, we were ready to go. I've been to Abu Dhabi. I've been a lot. Been there, a few times. So, not to, but I've been over in that part of the world. So it'd be exciting to go. I've never been to Dubai before, so this is going to be exciting for us. And then, of course, it doesn't work out. But in the scheme of things in my life, I've gotten to travel the world because I draw comics. Like that's crazy. You know what I mean? So I'm never going to be upset about it. I'm
Well,
super
and I
No,
got
pumped.
to
of course.
imagine when you're at a convention like Toronto Comicon, like when
Hmm.
the fans are coming up to you, and
Hmm.
and I imagine that it's everything from like 4-year-olds up to 80-year-olds that
Yeah.
are coming to talk to you,
Hmm.
and seeing that look of joy on their face because they like your
Hmm.
work or they see something that speaks to them because maybe they're not as
Sure.
familiar with you, but they just happen to be walking through the alley and
Sure.
see you on the wall there. And like that's gotta, like make you feel good about everything you've done, even like the days that you are not with your wife and your family and you're missing things that friends are
Yeah.
doing and stuff like important
Yes.
days because you've got deadlines because that's the part of the
Yeah.
job that nobody talks about is that you
Yeah. It's
guys
monstrous.
you don't just have a deadline and you got to go, you got to get it done.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's creative. It's creative to a certain point. It's not really creative work. It's execution work, and people don't understand that. They think it's there's so much. Oh my God, it must be so much fun what you do. It's like I don't draw whatever I want. I mean, like it's a job, right? So yeah, there are times where I go and they have ideas and they come to me with their ideas of what they want and this is what suits the story and off you go. So you don't get a chance to draw whatever inspiration you have that day. It's part of, like, this is the breakdown of what has to be done. These are what has to be on it, and off you go. So that's really what happens. But I mean, if you were to talk to me about, the highlights of your career and things that would be like the things that you would think of when you talk about being excited about the things that you work on, or getting on an airplane and there is a kid in front of you who's getting on the airplane with his luggage and he's pushing a Star Wars, you know, carry on because he's a kid and it's my artwork on the carry on. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that's cool. Like I mean, like the things that you get on that get on an airplane ride and you watch a cartoon and Carl Squared. I designed that show and there it is on. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's like I'm not going to be complaining about these kinds of experiences. I'm not going to be upset about it. I have had a phenomenal career. You know what I mean? And maybe some people think, oh, it's not as big as this guy or not as big as this guy. But yeah, being nominated for an Emmy, have your name on a feature film. I mean, what are we talking about here? Right? So
Yeah.
I can't be upset about anything. And I'm always going to look at, is it perfect? No. But I mean, like, what's it? I mean, come on. Like, I'm never gonna be upset. I was a kid in Mississauga who had a dream. I was a kid in Mississauga. I would love to draw comics. I would love to do this someday. And everyone's, give you that side eye look of like, well, wouldn't that be nice? All good for you, but okay.
Mm.
And then you end up getting that job or you end up getting that opportunity and then you run with it and off you go. And then next thing you know, you end up working on Marvel Comics and working on Age of Apocalypse and X-Men and then working on DC on Batman and then you're JLA and you're able to work on these different things and Flash, Fastest Man Alive, and then getting a chance to go back to DC and you're working on X-Men. I worked on Uncanny X-Men and X-Men Gold and you know what I mean? Like and then
Yeah.
and these are the books I bought. I bought the John Byrne books when I was a kid, and now I'm getting to work on X-Men. It's like I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first got that job, I was sitting in my car and I cried when because I was like, "Holy cow!" Like I'm drawing the X-Men. Like that makes no sense, but it's an amazing thing. So I don't really think of it as, sure. I mean, it's not all, beautiful, roses and all that stuff. And there are people in this business I just don't like. Like that's just the way it works.
Yeah,
I
of
mean, like
course,
that's
of
just life,
course.
right? But in the real scheme of life, this is a phenomenal, the phenomenal. I've lived a crazy existence, so I
Oh,
cannot ever complain about it, ever. I'll never complain. Sure, I was like, but 99.9% of my life is pretty awesome. I can't complain. Yeah.
yeah, that is pretty awesome. Now you mentioned back in the day there you did Age of Apocalypse, the
Yeah.
Excalibur Age of Apocalypse. Now that was like, of course, a huge event book, and as event books
Yeah.
go, they go across a line of books and everything. When you were drawing that book, were you like given a packet of like these are the designs of what Nightcrawler is supposed to look like, or
Sure.
did you
I
get a
have the
chance
packet.
to?
I have the packet in
Oh
here.
yeah,
I have the packet. Yeah. I found, again, it's funny because what you keep, it's weird what you keep, right? Because back in those days, I had to drive to a copy place to get your copies because no one had a copy. I
yeah,
had to
Yeah.
drive to get it. Oh, something came in from you from Marvel Comics, and they're even the people that handed you the thing were like, it was like a whole thing, right? It was a whole thing. And then I invested and bought my own fax machine because and Marvel was like, get a fax machine. So I got
yeah. They're
and
like,
I
we're tired
remember
of sending
getting,
it to Kinkos. Yeah,
yeah, right, Kinko, that's a deep cut there. That's a deep cut. Kinko, that's a deep cut. That's what, and I became really good friends with the people at the Kinkos. I mean, like they had to be your buddies because they saw the stuff and didn't see it, right? Right. So,
right.
then I spent the money and I remember when I bought a plain paper fax, I was like, whew, Ken had made it. I bought a plain paper fax, not a thermal one. I was upscale. So I remember that. And I remember how much that changed everything. I remember sending faxes to people. I remember getting the scripts and seeing the scripts. I remember I have the Joe Mad designs for Nightcrawler here. Like all the his pointy and all the and the swords and his metal outfit. I even have like the beast design. Like I have it like it came in a packet, like a
Yeah,
thick packet. So I mean, you never throw those things out because why would you
no,
throw
of
them
course
out?
not.
So I have them all here, and I even have the first Nightcrawler. I found it like 2 days ago. I was cleaning out my office, and I pull up this binder, and I go, "What's in this binder?" Oh, yeah, this is all the Age of Apocalypse stuff, and but you don't. I mean, why would you ever throw that away? But I have all that stuff. So, and now they just send you an email. I don't even know what my editor's voices sound like nowadays because
Oh my
we
gosh.
don't call each other. Everything's just an email, right? But back in those days, they'd call you up and you became friends with them. Like you talk to them, hang out. It's not like that so much anymore because there's less editors and they have to do more things. So they really want. That's why you keep working because they go. I know I can make one phone call or one email to Ken, and he'll get it done. Like even a story last Friday, 2 Fridays ago. I'm Friday night, 7 o'clock at night. I get an email. Ken, oh my goodness, I need your help. Okay, what's going on? And it's we forgot to assign something. And I was like, well, okay. So the book is going off to the printer, and I realized we don't have a cover. So could you help us? I said, what do you need? And it's like, well, I need the fifth cover in a series that you were doing. I need it for Monday. And it was like Friday at 7. And I said, my part Monday or all done Monday? And it's like, well, it would be all done would be awesome. But I said, okay. So I said, okay. So my job, 10 minutes after that, I sent over the sketches for the cover and I did it on Saturday and it was off to the colorist Sunday morning. It was done Monday evening. That's just the business,
That's
right? Like
awesome.
that's just, and you think about, oh wow. And like, when you see the cover compared to the other ones, which is the sad part. It looks just as good as the other ones. So it's sort of like I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be taking so much time. You know what I mean? But that's just life, right? Right now, I mean, like I've got I could say it all that. I'm doing a battle beast cover right now. I'm doing a battle beast cover, and then I've got a few other things. But it's really cool to be able to work on these different things. And also, I'm old compared to some of these young guys. So it's good to be old and still be able to do 6 or 7 covers a month. And that's pretty amazing at this point in my career because not very many guys my age are still rolling and still doing stuff like this, right? And and I have my own creator own book that I've finally been talking about for 10 years. And I've been really, really busy for 10 years. So I got to find the time to do it. And so I'm doing that now. I have a few publishers, Bloom is one of the ones I'm talking to right now about doing my own thing. And, like we'll see. You'll see who I pick or where I end up with this project. And I've got two other projects that are very, very different. One has a well, I'll leave it alone, but I'm gonna have some fun with it. I'm gonna have some fun. I'm at the age now, or I'm at the skill level to do the things that I dream of, right? So
Awesome.
Yeah,
I can't
and
complain.
I wanted to just, it sounds like it's been all awesome for you for the most part. Like
No, I
it's
mean,
the
it has.
way,
I have a very. It's not always been awesome. I just don't want to complain about something that most people would kill to do. And so when people can come to me and say, "Oh, this editor wasn't nice," or "You didn't get this job," or something negative happened, perception negative. Um, I look at it from another perspective. If an editor made a promise to me and didn't come through, or some job didn't work out some way, whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm never gonna hold an editor accountable for that, or I'm not gonna get mad about it. I'm just gonna move on, right? And and just keep going. And I think it's a power. I think it's a great mindset because nothing really means the end of anything, right? So I'll just go, okay, like, so if an editor's mad, or even a fan, even fan, I don't read fan mail. I don't respond to negativity in my group. Like if somebody writes something negative about an artist, I just delete it. Like somebody writes something negative about a book, I just delete it. Like it's just I'm not going to entertain stupidity. So if somebody wants to get in there and talk negatively about an artist, or even things like, if you don't really think about stuff like, oh, Ken, have you seen X-Men? You would be so much better than the guy drawing X-Men. And you're gonna go, well, I can't respond to that, right? So I just delete it, and I send them a private message. If you want to ask me something that's positive, no problem. But what do you want me to say? I'm friends with these people.
yeah, right,
You
yeah,
can't say things like that. You can't live your life in negativity, right? You have to be positive. Sure, I'm not Yoda, and I'm not always positive, but I'm just trying to be honest with people that I don't want to see the negativity and all this stuff, because in the end it doesn't really, you're going down a path. Like people are like this. Like if I were to say something negative on my wall, I'd have 1,000 people respond, because that's just the way we're built. We're built to do that kind of stuff. So I'm always, and it's always easy to be negative when it's not about you, right? And it's not about your experience. So you can say whatever you want when it's someone else. Oh, that guy's this. But if it's about you, would you like that? So I always think of it as, if it was about you, how would you feel about that? Or some,
yeah, no,
yes, you wouldn't want that. So I'm always trying to be mindful of. Sure, it's a great compliment. Oh, I think you're better than the guy drawing X-Men, Ken. I'm like, oh, okay, that's. But the guy, maybe I'm not, or maybe that's nice of you to say, but it's kind of opening up a whole conversation about negativity, and it really doesn't. Let's talk about something positive. Have you seen the Spider-Man trailer? And let's talk about that. I mean, like
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
let's
yeah,
let's be cool. You know what I mean? Let's be cool and have fun discussion, because all of this stuff should be entertainment. You know what I mean? And it should be fun. Like when I went to see the premiere of Black Panther, and they invited me to Wakanda Forever. It was an amazing experience. Took my oldest daughter, and here we are on the purple carpet, going to Los Angeles, and they put us right in the front. There was a section just for Marvel Studios people. So we got invited, not from Marvel Comics, Marvel Studio invited me. Because I guess then we saw the movies. Oh yeah, that's my whole scene. That's a book that I drew. Like that whole scene of fighting on the beach. That's even the design of the costume. Like that's my whole scene. My issue number 11. And it was like all the decisions that you make are now on screen. It's crazy. It's like, what a weird experience it was. But where they put us all, there was all artists together, and we all brought our daughters or one of our children. It was so interesting. Like there was 10 of us, and we all brought our kids, and we're all in the special thanks part. And then when we sat first, they sat us down, and we sat. And then as they opened the door to enter that arena, or into the bowl, was probably 15 feet away from where we were sitting. So we were like, as soon as you walked in, that we were the first people you saw. And Ryan Coogler walks in, looks right at us, looks right at me, and smiles, and like sort of like he knew where all the Marvel artists were, like oh, that's where they are. And then and then we had Michael B. Jordan was 4 rows and behind us. I actually had better seats, like he was behind me, and it's like my daughter kept saying, oh, we got better seats, like look at us. Right now. It was just because we were in the ooh, and because we had special wristbands, they were different from everybody else in the room. So like these guys are like special from Marvel, and the people walk past us and then look at our wristbands and go, who are they? Like, who are they? You know what I mean? Because and it was an amazing experience. But so, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it was awesome, but it was crazy, weird experience because you're in the room and like really these people don't know who you are, right? And you're just watching the film, and then when it comes up, special thanks comes up, and it's all of us. We all start cheering, and then everyone kind of, oh, those are the people that are in that sec. You know what I mean? Like those are
Yeah.
special. Those people got special thanks. Who are they, right? And it's how can I be upset? Sure, it was my career the best in the world? No. Is it the worst? Not by a long shot, right?
Definitely
So
not.
so I always look at it
30
that way.
years.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it that way. I mean, it's just an amazing experience. I get a draw. I mean, there's nothing, you're old, or that you've done a lot of things when, Hasbro Toys has a action figure with your face on,
I was
and
going to bring that up.
and
A dreadnought. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, what am I moaning about? What am I moaning about? I had wicked long hair and that beautiful, gorgeous locks. I'm a dreadnought. And it's my face. And it's like, and they did that after I've done so many designs for them. They said, "Oh, we want to honor you by doing this." And I thought, how? Like, come on. You know what I mean?
10-year-old
So,
you would have probably had his mind just
come
explode out of
on.
the back of his head, right?
What 30-year-old me? What are you talking about? What do you mean 10-year-old? 30-year-old, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Even now, like I had an office outside the home for like 3 or 4 years, and they wanted to sell the building. They asked me if I wanted to buy that kind of thing. They're leaning towards, and I thought about it. I said, "Oh," but I said, no, it's not. It's okay building, but it's in a kind of an industrial area, and I really. So I'm back home. I've been home for like almost like 8, 9 months. So it's sort of a makeshift. So it's not really my office, but it is my office for now. And you think about those things, but when I had my office, that was a fun 3 years, 4 years there because it was just exactly set up the way you wanted to set up. I had my full-size Silver Surfer in there with me. I sold that because it's ridiculous having a full-size Silver Surfer. I'm just saying, it's
I
cool.
don't think it's ridiculous at all, sir. I think
I
that's
believe,
great that you
listen,
had that at that time. That's
it was awesome.
fantastic.
I had it for a year. I had it for years before I set it up. And when you set it up, it's so big because it's life size and its arms are out and the board, you need like it has to have its own office almost. It's so big, right? So
Oh, he was in the pose.
yeah, he's
Like,
in the pose, from the with the
oh,
arms out and
wow.
the board. So when I had it up for a while. It's always good with interviews. Every interview, I'd set it all up, and then people would walk, "Oh, this is amazing," and then they'd be like, "Oh, how do I get to the bathroom?" Because it's like it's big, it's huge, and my space is only like 1,000 square feet, and when you put it up, it took like 300 of the square feet was taken by this because it was so big you couldn't just walk up to it, right? And everyone was afraid of it because it was like you don't want to bump into it, but it was a wicked thing. It was wicked.
That
So
sound
when
I
you move
remember
the
awesome.
I had it.
office, you move the office back home. Your wife is like, "You're not
No,
bringing that back in
no,
here."
my wife would never say that. You kidding me? She's mad cool. But what I do think is really cool is like I have other things. I moved like I had that for a while, but it was in storage for a long time. Also you can always tell what you really love. It goes to storage. So if you love it, it would be in your office. It was in storage for like 2 years, and I thought, well, I should get rid of it, and I sold it. And now I have other things. Now I'm more artwork driven. Like my John Burns. I have a couple of John Burns on the wall, and I've got a couple of Garcia Lopez's, and I've got just things that I love. Jim Lee X-Men pages and like things that you go, oh my god, oh my god. And that's where I really put my animation cells. I'm an animation cell guy, so I love animation cells, and I have tons of really good ones. Secret of Nim, I have Secret of Nim,
Oh wow.
Nice.
animation cells. You know what I mean? Like these are the things now that my family knows. So they get me amazing gifts at Christmas, like crazy good. Like like my favorite is
That's
John
awesome.
Robo's one of my favorite animes. So I have a couple from there. So it's good. Vampire Hunter D, my daughter bought me a cell from that last Christmas. So it's like
Nice.
it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, finishing off here, of course, you do
Sure.
a lot of cover work.
Yeah.
And there's a Captain America issue that's coming out that you did a cover
Came out
for.
Wednesday. Came out
Yeah,
Wednesday.
came out on Wednesday. Yes, that is kind of like a homage cover to Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars #10.
Damn exact.
And yeah, you said when you posted about it online, you said you're not one usually for homages. What was the
I hate that.
reason? What was the
Well,
reason
because
to do the homage on this one?
well, I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you, because usually I say no. Usually I just go, oh no, God, no. Because I just think sometimes it's like, hey, this is a really good cover. It's internationally famous. It is one of the best covers we've ever done. Would you like to redo it? And I'm like, why would I want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, why would I want to? Like, no. But I don't know. But there was a spin on it. You know, it's Hydra. It's this. It's that. It's, okay, so it's not quite the same. Okay, so I mean, I'll take a shot, but I usually say no to those. I usually say no because it's like it's a direct comparison right off the bat, which is sometimes problematic for either good or bad. Because if you do a really good job, like, oh, this is way better than the original, which is kind of crazy. So you don't want to, and that's just it just opens up dialogue about things that you don't want to like it's weird conversations to have, like to say, oh, my stuff is better than Mike Zeck or Barry Windsor Smith. It's like, well, don't be crazy, right? Like just don't be crazy. But that's what happens when you do homages. Like it's, who wants to see something another Tom McFarlane homage of 300? I mean, who wants to see that? Like it's like it's been done a bazillion times by a bazillion artists. So I did my one, and I told them, I said, I'm not doing that again. So, and I just want to be more creative. Just be creative. If you're hiring me because you like my work, then let me do my work. Like don't strong arm me to say, like, even when I do store variants, it's really tough because I feel bad for stores because they say, I know this would sell, so could you get Ken to do a blah 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 blah, Dark Knight Returns blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, because that book has been done, that pose has been done, it's been done 1,000, it was done great by somebody else. It's like sort of like, imagine, I really like your podcast. I think it's great. Could you make it look exactly like this other podcast? You'd be like, no. It's like let us be like, this is us.
Yeah.
Let us do
You'd be
this, right?
surprised though.
So
Some people do ask for that.
I know that's what I mean. And I feel like it's kind of
Nuts.
like it's easy. I understand. Like even this latest, I don't know if you guys have seen Absolute number 18, and all the covers for it, or 18 or 19, I think it is. And it's like they all had the same idea of, the person inside the mouth of Scarecrow. Like every single one of these covers, this is almost like they had the same idea. And I was like, somebody at DC should have said, hey, we've already got this cover. You need to do another idea. I think I've seen like 6 covers from that book, and it's all the same idea. All the variants are like, oh, I know what idea. Put somebody in his mouth. I go, well, that guy did the same thing. Everyone did the same thing. So I wish, that's what I mean. Like, you want to be able to be creative, right? And so you want it always to be come from you, and try to be that person, and try to find an image that works for you and that serves a story. So that's really the why I love to draw. Is not That's why I'm not interested in doing these other things that look like something else or remind you of something else. I just don't want to do it. I think it's to me it's weak sauce. I just think it's who wants to do that?
Yeah, totally. Well,
Great.
Ken, I want to thank you for talking with us today. It's been a lot of fun talking with you. Of course, people can check you out at the Toronto Comicon, March 20th to 22nd at the Metro Toronto Convention Center in Artist Alley. Go there, say hey, check out his stuff, buy his stuff. It's some great stuff. Ken, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you there.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.